What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the Nordic flags and why they look like this. So, here in the United States, we never learned about any of this in school, but, when looking at the Nordic flags, you can't help but notice a lot of these flags look very similar, and a lot of them have the same cross pattern on them. And I've always kind of wondered why that is, so today I want to check out this video explaining a lot of the history of the Nordic flags and why they look like this. So let's take a look.
These are the official Nordic regions/countries. The
Okay.
common element in their flag is the Nordic cross.
Yes.
So let's see what this cross is all about.
Okay, it has a name. It's the Nordic Cross. Yes, exactly. This is like pretty much the most distinguishing feature that you see in a bunch of flags. So it's like, where did this come from?
It's called a Nordic cross and not a Scandinavian cross. Despite the fact that
Okay.
all Scandinavian countries and regions use it, some outside Scandinavia do as well, like Finland or Iceland, but
Right.
also some other countries outside of the Nordic region.
Oh.
Historically, countries like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Germany, the Netherlands, Armenia, the UK, Brazil, the US, Ukraine, and so many others across the world have used or still use the Nordic cross as an element in their flags.
Oh. So a lot of countries all around the world don't use exactly this, but something influenced by this. Even the United States, they said. Interesting. I didn't know that this had such a worldwide influence, this cross.
So, what does this cross represent? You can probably guess it. It represents Christianity, and the colors usually have to do with each country's coat of arms.
Okay, that's that makes a lot of sense actually. I guess I was just thinking, well, on the flags, the cross looks sideways, like the cross has been turned over. It's not like, but flags are wider. Their flags are not tall, so. But you could still make the cross in the center, like some countries do that. But I didn't know this was all related, and it all goes back to Christianity. That's the basically okay.
It was introduced by Denmark with the creation of its flag, which is arguably the world's oldest continuous flag.
Really, this is actually fascinating. I don't know why they don't teach us more of this stuff here in school in the United States. Like, it's mostly focused on American history and a little bit like of the world wars and definitely not cool stuff like this. Denmark basically has the oldest continuously used flag. Interesting. So does that mean most of these are based off the Danish flag? A lot of the modern flags?
In the 14th century, a Danish king is said to have seen the flag descend from the skies, using it as the flag for his kingdom. And since Denmark has been, at an early stage, a dominant force in all of Scandinavia and Nordic regions, it seemed to have spread its flag design to all subsequent countries in those regions.
Oh, right. The influence is because the kingdom of Denmark had a big history and a big influence.
Despite symbolizing Christianity at first, which is probably the reason why so many other countries in the world, as far as Brazil, used it, today it's more of a symbol of Nordic culture and the closeness and common history between all Nordic countries.
Yeah, I actually view it more of a symbol of this region, the Nordic region of the globe. Or I don't think of it at all as like a religious symbol or anything. Huh.
The fact that it was used in the flag of the Kalmar Union, which joined Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Iceland, and Greenland,
Oh.
is, I believe, evidence of that. After being created in Denmark, it
Wait, all of those countries were a union at one point? The Union of Kalmar. there, there is so much like Nordic history I just do not know.
is, I believe, evidence of that. After being created in Denmark, it was then adapted by Norway and Sweden, and then by
Right.
Iceland and Finland.
I see.
Norway, however, applied a slight change and was the first Nordic cross to use three colors, creating a variant of the Nordic cross model, which was then adapted by others like Åland, the Faroe Islands, or Iceland.
Norway really cooked. You know that term? I know the kids are using that slang. Norway really cooked with that. Norway really was on to something when you came up with the three-color cross flag. So Norway is responsible for that design choice, and it's really cool. It's very visually pleasing, and a lot of countries have followed it.
The reason for the addition of the third color is something I couldn't find, but one could assume that since after its independence from Denmark, Norway was briefly united with Sweden, when they became fully independent, they may
Okay.
have wanted to keep a symbol of both of its earliest flags.
There's probably some historical reason, but sometimes the reason is just it looks really cool. But it's probably an homage to something like this.
Denmark is a white cross on a red field, the original Nordic flag, if you will. Sweden followed quickly, applying the colors of their coat of arms, creating the flag a yellow cross on a blue field.
Right.
Finland went with the blue cross on a white field after its independence from Russia. The white is for the snow, and the blue for the water in its many lakes.
This is so cool. Like, obviously, every country has a story for their flag, and just because these flags look similar, like the colors represent very different things. That's cool.
Norway has a red field with a blue and white cross, influenced by the Danish flag representing its union with Denmark and the blue representing its union with Sweden. Iceland, which uses a red and white cross on a blue field since 1944, and the three colors are said to represent the elements which form the island: ice, fire, and water. The Faroe Islands
I like this is really cool.
also use the three-color version, a white field with a red and blue cross since 1919.
The Faroe Islands. What exactly are the Faroe Islands? Because I'm familiar with like Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, even Iceland. Faroe Islands, like that's considered Nordic? I don't like I've almost never heard of them.
The white symbolizes the skies and waves, and the red and blue represent the links with Iceland and Norway, and Åland, the archipelago between Sweden and Finland, which is part of the latter, which
What is this? Islands between Sweden and Finland? Talk about stuff I didn't even know these existed.
flies a blue flag with a yellow and red cross since 1953.
Okay.
So, to sum up, the reason why Nordic countries use the Nordic cross in their flags is because of their common history, culture, and past.
I see.
However, its original usage and adaptation seems to really be a representation of Christianity, and this justifies its usage in
It's cool. The design, I guess I'm trying to say, to my knowledge, there's not much else like this phenomenon with other countries, like around the world. You don't see like a group of flags that look so similar or, have a similar theme, except for the Nordic flags. And it's really cool that a group of countries have done this, even if it's for historical reasons, even if it wasn't like on purpose. It just made sense historically. It's really cool that this is like a thing, and I don't know. I'm glad it's like this.
other regions of the world, which I talked about earlier. In the Baltic countries, a lot of regions use this cross, and there were even some proposed national flags which contain it.
So this kind of thing actually is not exclusively Nordic. Although, let's be honest, I think everybody associates it with Nordic like Nordic countries, even though there's apparently others.
In Germany, the Teutonic Knights used a Nordic cross flag.
Huh.
In World War II, the war flag of Germany also had it. And curiously, the flag proposed by the conspirators of the Valkyrie operation to take down Hitler's regime was also a Nordic cross flag.
Wow.
In the Netherlands, many regional flags use the Nordic cross,
Oh, wow.
like Bedum, and the same happens in the UK with Shetland and many others. In Brazil, so far away, regional flags also use this element, like
I really didn't know that it had such an influence on a lot of different parts of the world. I thought this was just Nordic thing.
the flag of the city of Sao Paulo. In the US, the flag of Wilmington, Delaware. In Puerto Rico, the flag of Bayamon.
What? I didn't even know about that. And that's in the United States.
In Ukraine, the flag of Zhytomyr, and so many others, all the way from Andalusia in Colombia to Tbilisi in Georgia.
Wow.
From my point of view, it started to represent Christianity, but then just became a trend in flags across the world,
Yeah.
being maintained and used almost universally in Nordic countries because it's so closely related to their common history and culture.
Yeah.
So that is a brief overlook at the Nordic cross.
Wow.
Where it's used, why it's used, and why it is so common in Scandinavian and Nordic countries.
Well, I'd say at this point, like maybe at one point this was like a religious thing, Christian thing. This is now a Nordic thing. And it represents just like Nordic culture to me. Although I'd be curious to hear like what this represents to actual Nordic people out there. When I see this, I just think of like Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Sweden, Norway. That when I see this shape, the symbol on the flag, yeah, I didn't know any of this, to be completely honest, any of this history, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's actually really cool to learn about. So I'm glad I took a look at this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like, or leave a comment with your thoughts on this history of the Nordic flag design. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.